Wow, this is really raining. We've had some wetness before this, but this is real rain. There's so many different kinds of rain, different words for rain. You could say a drizzle, a downpour, a deluge, a flood of rain. You can call them tiny raindrops, giant droplets. There's so many interesting ways to describe rain. For today's writing, we're gonna use interesting words instead of overused words. Some examples of overused words are went. You can say he ran, he sprinted, he galloped, he sashayed, he dashed. What other words could you use to describe went? What could you say instead of went? Did anyone say skipped? You can describe a character in your story as skipping. Instead of saying he went here, you can say he skipped there. One of the most overused words is said. What else could you use in your story instead of the word said? What other word could you say? Did anyone say explained, declared, screamed, yelled, shouted, whispered, muttered, uttered, told? There's a lot of different ways to use different, more interesting words to make your stories more exciting. I want you to go over your story now and find places where there are words that you might find a little less interesting than they could be. Perhaps the word said. Did you use the word said in your story? Can you replace it with a more interesting word? What about went? What about just a way to describe the weather? Instead of saying sunny, you could say brilliant. Another common overused word could be good. What other words could you use instead of saying good? What about big? What words could you use instead of big in your writing to make it more interesting? What about the word looking? I could say Leo is looking for something, or I could say he's searching, or sniffing, or examining. There's so many amazing words in our language to describe things. Try to find the most interesting one you can use, and it'll make your writing that much more fun to read. All right, it's time to write for 20 to 25 minutes. First, you can go through your writing and find all the less interesting words you have and make them more interesting. And if you're done with your draft and you can't think of anything else to do, just start writing a new story. It could be about anything. And when you're writing a new story, try to think of interesting words to use instead of the overused words like big, went, said.
What do you have, Leo?